Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, so we are talking Turner syndrome. And this week I have an interesting topic because it's not necessarily me sharing my knowledge or understanding. It's more me sharing something that I'm interested in learning more about. And something I'm kind of looking to understand better, maybe through resources you guys have. And I would just really love to hear your experiences or your understanding of it. I would love to hear any kind of tidbits you've learned about this, or maybe things you've heard about it. And that is passing on Turner syndrome to your daughter. Yes, Turner syndrome is a genetic condition. It's in the genes, it's in genetic makeup, that's it. But I had always had the understanding, until kind of recently, that it couldn't be passed on. That it was just a fluke happenstance, and it wasn't something that was really known to have a cause, and that there was no way for me to pass it on. Now, in some sense that's true, because I can't get pregnant. But if I could, or if it were to spontaneously happen, which does happen, it's very, very rare and mostly in mosaic women, but it's not an impossibility. And honestly, as a Christian, nothing is impossible with God. So I truly do believe, while I know I'm infertile, I know I can't get pregnant, I don't expect it to happen, I in the back of my mind kind of know if God wanted it to happen, it would happen. I shouldn't have happened. So there's a lot that I get muddled around in my head about this, because in some sense it makes sense for it to not be something you can pass on. And it wasn't until I heard a specific way of looking at it that I kind of changed my mind and thought, oh, maybe I could. And maybe that means if I did get pregnant, it would be a Turner's baby if it was a girl. You know, that the only girls I would be able to have with my genes would be another Turner syndrome baby. And they would also have Turner syndrome. And that unless it was a boy, there was going to be those issues, or there was going to be that likelihood and that concern if it were to just spontaneously happen. Or for a mosaic woman, if you use IVF and use your own eggs. So lots of that being thought through here. And the part that I heard that made me question it was, I can only give what I have. I can only give the chromosomes I have, the genetic makeup that I have, so I can't magically produce an egg with perfect genetic makeup of two healthy full X's out of nowhere. Because what the egg is made up of is what I'm made up of. And so what I would be able to pass on is possibly a deleted X. At the least, a broken X. And that is what made me question it, and that is what made me think maybe they say that phrase of you can't pass it on because they're expecting you to not be able to get pregnant. And I don't know. I mean, there is that element to it, because it's very difficult. It's very rare to have spontaneous conception, but let's be real here. There's a lot that happens that they don't see coming. So I wouldn't put it past it happening for that to be a thing. And I just feel like anything is possible. So with that understanding, it almost made me more fearful to wish for that or to pray for that. Because while I don't in any way see an issue, like I don't downgrade myself because of having Turner's. I don't downgrade another woman having Turner's or another baby. A mom that's pregnant with a baby with Turner syndrome, I don't want them to terminate. I don't push for that. And I don't believe it's always the answer. That's a little controversial probably, maybe. I don't know. But, okay, so that's out. That's how I feel about that. And so I'm not somebody that thinks that that shouldn't be or shouldn't happen, or that that's a reason for that baby to not happen. The reason it makes me concerned is I know the health concerns that can come with it. So taking that risk of that happening before it's already happened, I feel like it's very different than being in that situation, knowing you are already pregnant and the baby has Turner syndrome, and continuing with the pregnancy. I see that as a very different circumstance from knowing you are very likely to pass it on and knowing all of the health risks it has. So I for that reason was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. It kind of restructured my way of looking at it. The problem with that is I don't know what science actually says about it. I don't know how much research there actually has been into it. And if the women that have spontaneously gotten pregnant that have Turners have passed it on. Have they passed it on? Were they mosaic or classic? What did their karyotype look like? What does their daughter's karyotype look like? And I really think that would be what would help me wrap my head around this. More research on this as to possibilities and likelihoods and a history of what has happened would be nice to have. And I don't know if that's somewhere to find, if that's not done yet, but maybe we could advocate for it happening and say it's something we'd be interested in researching. Because as women with Turners, we should kind of have a voice and, hey, I'd like some answers on this, and kind of point the research in the direction of the questions we have as women with Turner syndrome. So I'm curious to know what you guys understand about this. I would love to hear some stories, some research, some facts. I would love some resources to go to. Let me know what you guys know about this. And I would love to hear your opinion on how you understand it, and if you believe that you can pass it on, and if it were to spontaneously happen, if you would, or if you think there's really no way of telling if you would pass it on. I personally think that, or there might be some kind of a 50-50 going there, because for me, I've always understood that any cells made after the deletion is what's affected. So I've never fully agreed or fully settled on the idea that every single cell is affected, because if that's the case, how are we alive? How did we survive, and how are we functioning? And the culmination of the symptoms are so unique and so seemingly random that how does that explain there being that consistency in every single cell having that deletion, and all of the diversity in the symptoms and how it manifests itself and what women look like and deal with? Welcome to the world of Brooke's brain. It's scary. These are all the things that I've started thinking about on the scientific side of it. These are the questions left unanswered in my head that rattle around in there the most. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this, and any other questions you might have. Leave them in the comments below. And I hope this was an interesting one. This was not really me sharing beyond sharing my opinion, but really I'd love sources from you guys. So let me know. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. And make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.